Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me in the chat? Welcome to the launch party for the Steam Next Fest demo for our game Bow Path of the Teal Lotus. My name's Chris, and I'm the creative director. There's an echo right off the bat. Give me a second here, guys.
How's that? Can you guys hear me? Is that better? There we go. Okay, great. Yeah, this stream is going to be extremely technically complicated because we have 20 people in a call right now, and you'll all get to meet them. But first, I just want to welcome everyone in the chat. We're super excited. I imagine you're joining this stream because you've heard about Bow Path of the Teal Lotus and you're interested in learning more about it. You're interested in trying it out. So the demo's been out for about a week now, kind of secretly. So has anybody tried out the demo yet? Let us know in the chat if you played the demo yet. If you haven't, tomorrow would be the best time to start, because tomorrow is the first day of the Steam Next Fest. So the Steam Next Fest is taking place from the 10th until the 17th, and there's going to be a bunch of great demos to try, one of them being Bow. And it's a big marketing push for us. So the more y'all play, the more y'all share the game, stream, make videos and stuff, it's going to be really helpful for the success of launch. And as you can see on screen right now, our launch is Actually, this is a mistake. Our launch is July 17th. The reason that it says 18th in the trailer is because that's when it launches in Asia. So it's actually launching July 17th. So now you know. Sorry about that. Okay, so before we start the stream properly, and I just want to make some announcements. The first announcement I want to make is that during the Steam Next Fest, we're going to be having a speed running competition. If you're a speedrunner, let me know in the chat, okay? So our speedrunning competition is basically doing a run through the demo. So if the mods can post the guidelines for the speedrunning competition in all the chats right now, that'd be great. So if you're a speedrunner, this is going to be fun. If you're not a speedrunner, it's going to be fun also. So go ahead and give it a try. We have some cool prizes. You can win the Bow plush, the Bow digital soundtrack, a signed poster from the developers, a sticker set, and a Steam key for Bow. So all the information is in that document, okay? Okay, so now I'm going to introduce the team, or I'm going to allow the team to introduce themselves individually. So I'm just going to ask them one by one to introduce themselves. Starting with, give me a sec. Starting with Trevor.
Hello, everyone. I am Trevor. I'm the lead programmer for Bow. I'm from Oregon in the United States, but I currently live in Chiang Mai, Thailand.
Okay, thank you, Trevor. Next, let's introduce Robert.
Hello, everyone. I'm Robert Spazon. I'm from Japan and am the producer for Bow. I handle publisher relations as well as team organization. Happy to be here.
Hi, I'm Milton. I am from Argentina. I contributed with level design, boss design, and other systems here and there. So they know from me? I don't hear anything.
Hey, I'm Moy. Nice to meet you all. I made the music from Bow and I'm from Mexico. Happy to be here.
Hello, I'm Mikami. I'm from Brazil, and I'm the animator from this amazing game.
Hey everybody, I'm Miguel. I'm from Spain and I'm the audio sound designer for Bow. Happy to be here with you all.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisa. I'm the environment artist and I'm really excited for everyone to see the world of Bo.
Hi everyone, I'm Gael. Work with Trevor as a programmer. I'm from Spain, but I'm currently living in the UK, and I'm super excited to be working on this game.
Hey, I'm Lucas. I'm the audio mastering engineer for the music of the game, and I'm also super excited to be here.
Sorry, Chris, I think you're muted at the moment.
Can you hear me? Y'all, I swear to God, we tested this. Can you hear me? Can you? Okay, you all, we tested this yesterday, did we not, Connor? But anyway, it's really logistically difficult to do. So basically, where was I? Okay, yeah, Josh Regan from Rare Jobs Games, who's working on all the porting for the game. So thanks to everyone on the team. I want to start with the demo now. So Trevor, if we can take it away with the demo.
No problem.
Hello. So this is actually the animated cinematic that I was talking about earlier that Marlene Animates worked on. So Marlene Animates is a YouTuber who does like she started with like Pokemon animations back in the day, and I saw her on Twitter, like some of her stuff on Twitter, and I just knew that I had to have her like do something for Bo. And this was one of the things that she was able to do. She did also do a lot of other things for the game. We haven't been able to reveal them yet, though, but look forward to that. Can you guys not hear the game audio? Trevor, can you check the audio one time real quick? Just turn it up a little bit, maybe.
Is that better?
Can you all hear the game audio? If there's no game audio, I'm sorry, and I'm not gonna like try and figure out how to do that right now. All right. No audio yet.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, I don't hear anything myself. Yeah.
Well, give me a sec to maybe figure this out, y'all.
I'm gonna put this at 100 just to see.
Okay. How about now? Can you guys hear the game audio? Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Can you hear the game audio now? I had to mute a couple things because of the situation.
Oh, so can I turn it down now? How about this?
There we go. See?
Okay, cool.
A little rough around the edges here, but this stream is kind of... It's just for fun, okay? It's a party, okay? Let's have a good time here.
Cool. So I also wanted to mention I'm also going to be handling stream as the MC. So again, as a producer, so to speak, for the stream. And I guess one thing I wanted to ask real quick is, you know, we had a demo early on when the Kickstarter launched, and we have this current demo. So, you know, a lot of development went on between that first demo that we had for the Kickstarter campaign and the current full game. So I guess I'm curious, Chris, as to what all from your experience has changed in this first area.
Basically, I think this was like the first thing we worked on the game. So
I think this was the first scene we ever worked on in the game. And It hasn't really changed much, to be honest, from what I remember. I know that Trevor played the original alpha demo recently, and he was telling me about how bad it was.
Oh, it was wild.
There seems to be some fundamental issue with the game audio here, or like my audio, right? But can you hear me? I'm sorry about how much of a technical disaster the stream is, but
We hear you.
okay, thank you. Cool, yeah, so the game hasn't really fundamentally changed too much in this early bamboo forest area. We kind of kept it the same and kind of like branched off from there. Of course, we did polish a lot of things. Like this was kind of like a very late addition, right? This little cinematic right here where well, I can't explain exactly what's happening here, but you can kind of like maybe see and come up with some theories.
I've always been a huge fan of this Gashadokuro sequence, or sorry, of this big creature here.
Yeah, it's a Gashadokuro. we can reveal that.
Oh,
it's a Gashadokuro.
okay.
You guys could go look that up on Google if you don't know what that is. No, yeah,
Maybe
the
not
stream is a
tonight.
little. The stream will be a little laggy, guys. Sorry about that because we're all in different countries and like streaming from like 9 different places. But I hope you guys can enjoy a little bit. Cool. So now Trevor's just like collecting some bamboo and stuff. And if we can hear the game audio, which I think we can, maybe we can talk about a little bit about the music. Moy, what do you think? Do you have anything to say about like this bamboo forest piece? Was this the first song that you made?
It was actually maybe the third one or the fourth one, but I remember the early demo you have for this area. I remember you shared a video, and well, actually there was a cinematic scene you made before, like of Bo falling down from the moon. It was all in engine, I believe, and actually part of the music was scored for that scene, but since it changed, it now doesn't reflect the same thing, but it works. It still works. I think.
Yeah, I actually remember what you were talking about. Like, it was like a very like annoyingly long introduction scene where like Bo was coming from the moon onto the flower, right? Before we had that kind of cinematic, right?
Exactly. And for me, it's a big change from that early build to the current state of the game. Especially with that cinematic you showed, where Gashadokuro appears.
Oh, Moy, do you have the game playing in the background? The stream playing in the background?
But it should be muted.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I was going to mention is I actually don't even have the stream on this monitor set up in any capacity, so there really should be no echo from my end either.
Oh, I see. Yeah, actually, I'm in my phone. I don't have my computer, so I have to watch both the stream and speak. But I hopefully I closed the stream. Is it better now?
Yeah, I have it on my iPad.
Probably not. There's something weird going on with this mixer I have open. I mean, we tested it yesterday, and I don't know what's going on right now. I think the problem is if anyone talks other than me, that it comes a little bit bad. But anyway, we'll continue because if I talk, it's fine, correct? Anyway, so Trevor is now going through the second scene of the game, and basically he's showing off kind of the pogo and the jump resets here, okay? So now he is... one of the unique parts about Bo is the ability to jump reset. So you'll notice like Bo turns like, has like a teal glow around them sometimes. That means that there's a jump stored. So whenever you hit basically anything that's hittable, you'll get a jump reset. So there's no inherent double jump, so you get a lot of... What's that?
Oh, I was going to also want to mention, Chris, that this Google Meet ends in 10 minutes. So we will have to actually restart a new Google Meet as well at that time.
Wow.
Wow.
Just heads up. to complicate things.
Pay for more than an hour? This
Yes,
is
they do.
ridiculous. Okay, we'll make a new one. Okay. Can Connor get that ready? Sorry about all the technical difficulties.
That's a tactical break to allow the audience to gather some questions.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. We could get some questions in the chat for any of the team, whether that be the design team, the animation team, the art team, the sound team, the music team. That'd be great.
One thing that I do want to highlight with regards to Milton, since Milton also was a major designer for both Path of Teal Lotus, and Milton, you have a lot of experience. Also working with me in Metroidvania designs. What do you think, in your opinion, sets sort of Metroidvania designs apart from sort of other genres, like the overall process for it?
Well, it's kind of a fascinating beast. The fact that environments are so interconnected and the way that the player behaves and interacts with the environment changes over time also gets reflected into this opening level that Trevor's playing. Part of the charm is actually both learning as a designer to understand how the actual game feels and plays, how the character evolves over time on development, and then being able to actually revisit the very first level to accommodate all of these new changes. We have to teach the players how to engage with the game with all of these new mechanics that did change a lot from the very first Kickstarter demo. So yeah, it's both a personal journey for Bo as a character that grows powerful over time, and also for the entire design team and the entire studio that understands how the game is moving forward and then iterates over that and applies those new pieces of knowledge on pretty much everything.
Right. I think one thing for Trevor and Gail in particular throughout development is, with Milton in design and Chris, you giving direction, is that when you make a Metroidvania, you sort of have to do a second design pass over the entire game, because by the time you reach the end and you're making adjustments and tweaks to the overall mechanics of the game, you actually have to go back to the start again and see how does that affect everything. Right, Milton?
Yeah, and that's when it gets kind of dangerous. You get to iterate once, and then by the second time you actually iterate, it's, maybe this part in the end could actually be better. And then you start, getting into that vicious circle. And yeah, it turns into feature creep very easily. It's super difficult to have the discipline to actually know when to, wrap it up and, make peace with the awesome product that you have.
Yeah. Chris, what was it like going through those sort of 2 rounds of design iteration for each area?
Yeah, it was tough, but I think it was definitely, it felt good because there was definitely that part of me who always wanted to go back and make everything feel a little bit better. Once we understood what the game Bo wanted to be, actually, so to speak, it became clearer and clearer over time how the game would flow, what the player controller is capable of, and how we would want the adventure to unfold, I guess, and especially in the early areas where tutorialization is extremely important. When the testing rounds came in, we had to kind of refactor a lot of things because people were not really understanding what certain things did, how to use this ability correctly. So Milton helped a ton with all of the redesigns and things like that. So, but that came out so the earliest levels, very late in development, we kind of refactored them a little bit. And I just want to note that we did have to turn the game audio off because I realized that was what was causing the echoes. So I'm super sorry to all the sound people in here. I know it's an absolute disaster, but I think for the echo, it's worth just to eliminate the echo. Sorry about that. So this is actually one of the first boss. This is the first boss in the game, called the Kirikiri Bozu. However, this was, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the last boss that we made.
Yeah, I believe it was the last one.
Yeah. because what ended up happening is that we realized like the game was taking too long to get to the first boss, so we just kind of like put a boss in the bamboo forest kind of later. So
but it does help with pacing as well, because it feels, you know, a lot more cohesive without that sort of length.
Yeah, and I think someone, like when we went to Tokyo Game Show, like in our first year of development, someone mentioned like, I feel like there should be a boss in here in this location.
Yeah.
It was just the player's intuition was like, we should put a boss here. And I was like, okay, yeah. At the time, I was like, oh my god, that's gonna be a whole thing. But later, when we got really good at just like pumping out bosses, like it was really easy. I think it took like a week to do.
Right. So Trevor, what was the iteration process for you and Gail like when we were going through the entire game? Because I know you guys had to sort of Milton would come up with prototypes of ideas, and then it would get sent to you guys. So what was that process like for you?
Well, at first it was pretty chaotic because like we were pretty new to having a level designer like at Milton's caliber working on the team. So that was kind of a learning curve workflow wise. But you know, after a while we got into a really good groove, and basically from what I remember, like Milton would kind of go off on his own for like a week or two, prototype some stuff, you know, and every once in a while he'll like request me to like make something like very prototypey that like he wants to try out. And then he'll display to the team what he made. And then we basically organize everything that the level will like we detail everything that will happen in the level like in a nice Google Doc, and then it'll be sent to both Gail and I, and then we'd basically hack at it for like a week or so, and then rinse and repeat. It got into like a really good workflow after a while.
Yeah. I was going to ask actually, Gail, since you know this was one of your first major projects, I wanted to ask what was for you probably your biggest learning experience throughout the project.
Yeah, for me, up until this point, I have been working just on like personal stuff. I haven't really worked on a team doing creative stuff. So it was a really good experience. I learned so much of doing the actual job, you know, programming and all that, and also loving working in a team and working with Trevor. It was so fun, and coming up with all the solutions and all the things we have to do, and you know the little complicated stuff that really good for me. Actually, I had a lot of fun, and yeah, I really enjoyed the process.
Yeah, great. I was gonna ask, mention real quick, guys. The call will be ending within the next 2 minutes, so I don't want to.
Okay, you know what? Yeah,
Mhm.
Thanks for bringing that up, Robert. We're going to take a brief pause in the chat because the technical issues going on here are just like unacceptable, and that's totally my fault. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a brief pause. We're going to get everything kind of figured out, and then we're going to come back. So just sit tight, and we'll see you in maybe like 5 to 10 minutes, okay? Sorry about all that. Hey everyone, we're back. Can you hear me? Hello. I'm getting some sort of echo myself now. It's crazy. Oh, I'm watching myself live on YouTube. Okay. Now no echo. Okay, we're back. Okay, so what we decided to do, since like there was a bunch of lag and tech issues, what we're gonna do now is just go to the Q&A. So if anyone has some questions about the development of our game Bow Path of the Teal Lotus, go ahead and start asking them. You can ask in Twitch chat, YouTube chat. Again, I want to apologize for all the tech issues. It happens, but we're rolling with it, okay? So questions for anyone on the team, sound related, art related, design related, even production related, you can ask. And I understand that Connor has some questions ready to go. So Connor, take it away.
Yeah, so first off, we have a question from Nomit53, and this is for pretty much everyone. How many areas in Bow are there? How many regions can you explore?
That's a good question. I think I'll take that one. Wow. I should know this number, but let me just count real quick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, about 10 in the base game. So there you go. I won't spoil anything else. In the demo, you'll explore 2.1 of the areas. I know that was cryptic, but you'll see what I mean.
It's a meaty demo, I will say that. So there's a lot of content to explore.
Okay. So Connor, do you have another question lined up?
Yeah, no worries. So, yeah, I suppose this is directed to almost everyone in the call. And obviously, a lot of people who've been playing the demo haven't seen all of the characters that we have in Bow, but obviously we have a colourful cast. Who is everyone's favourite character from Bow in total, whether that's an NPC or a boss or Bow themselves? Do we have anyone who wants to take that on to start with?
Yeah, I would love to hear from someone who hasn't really said anything yet. So, anyone want to say their favorite character?
I want to hear from Mikami.
Yeah, and careful for spoilers, y'all. But, you know. Yeah, Mikami, do you have a
Oh,
favorite
that's so bad. I wanted to say one character, but it's from later in the game,
Well,
so...
I think maybe we know who... Do I know who it is?
Yes.
Like, okay, why don't... You can say it. Just say the name, but don't, like, say where they are and what they do.
Shisa.
Shisa. Oh, that's not a spoiler. Oh, so actually that character, we changed the name. She's talking about the dog that you pet in Sakura City. And that's in the trailer, so that's not a spoiler. You can pet the dog in the game, right? So, actually, that animation is one of my favorite ones that you did, Mikami. Yeah. So, it's the dog. That was actually a Kickstarter backer character that we co-designed. So, I think it's a very cute animation, and everyone has loved it. That has, you know, we posted it on Twitter. Can you pet the dog on Twitter retweeted it, and I think like there's gonna be merch later for sure at some point, like involving.
He's so cute.
Yeah. Cool. Does anyone else have a favorite character that they want to talk about? Lisa.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh, Lisa first, and then Gail.
Sorry. I just wanted to say, for me, it's Bow because of the plushie. Because I always have him with me.
The plushie, yeah.
Yes.
I have I tied the Bow plushie to my chair. Wait, hold on. Can you see? Y'all have seen this, right? So it kind of the idea is that he kind of looks like he's sitting on my shoulder. Yeah. But there will be more plushies. They're not ready yet, but yeah. I know a lot of people have been asking about that.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's actually another one of the questions I've had. Will the Bow plushie be available for purchase straight out?
Yeah, so it's coming soon, y'all. Just be ready. It's coming soon. It'll probably be a little bit after release when we have more information on that, okay? Gail, did you want to chime in with your favorite character as well?
Yeah, just wanted to add, like, I really love the Armadillo. It's like so cute, like, and the sound it makes. I love it. It's one of my favorite like animals in the world. So yeah, I really love that one.
Yeah, the Armapillo is actually a one of the first enemies in the game. I think first was Hiradama, and then the Armapillo was the second one. We just needed a kind of an enemy that turned into a ball that you could hit around. So I came up with this kind of pill bug armadillo. That's where the name comes from. It's a portmanteau of armadillo and pill bug. So it's an Armapillo.
I was thinking because it's nice and squishy and fluffy, and you can hug it like a pillow because it doesn't harm you.
Well, maybe we do make a pillow out of like a body pillow.
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
Well, okay. I was gonna say actually in the game design document, it literally is the second enemy listed. So.
Yeah, for sure. It was one of the earliest enemies. At this point, I can't remember the order we designed everything, but yeah. And interesting also, there's an enemy in the game that is a red Armapillo that is an aggressive kind of like Armapillo, and we call that Armapillo the Armakillo. And someone in our Discord came up with that brilliant nickname. So, does anyone else have any favorite character they want to mention, or should we go to the next question?
I think Lucas and Trevor have answers. Got your hands up.
Yeah, I don't know the name of the character, unfortunately, but the kind of yin yang parrot with the two heads. I just love it. Like adds a kookiness, pun intended, right from the get go that just adds so much charm to it. So I don't know if you're gonna make a plush of that, but I would be a fan for that one.
Yeah, I think the character, the yin yang parrot that he's referring to is the Tori, which is one of the characters you meet at the very beginning. I think Milton also mentioned that. No, maybe. Oh yeah, Milton also really liked that character too, if I'm correct. But
I want a plushie of that guy so bad.
yeah, I guess a lot of people know Tori, right? Because Tori is like the second character you meet. What do you guys think? Should we make a plushie? Let us know in the chat. We'll do it. Cool. If there is a cute plushie that needs to be made, we will heavily consider it.
With the amount of characters in Bo, I reckon we'll be making a lot of plushies.
And they would all be very loved. This is a very major question that Chris, I wanted to ask you in particular, which is, I think there's kind of part of the question is, so is there any DLC planned? I can address that if need be. I think I can think of an answer.
Oh, sure. I mean, if you want to answer that.
Yeah, so of course, right now we're just focusing on the core experience, the core game, all of the ideas that we wanted to integrate into this game. We have integrated, so it is a full standalone experience. But of course, we're also looking to see just how much people enjoy the world and see if there's anything else that we can expand on in the future. We're always looking into that, but right now we just want to deliver this core experience, and then we can discuss things like that after the full release of the game.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer. And just to let everyone know, we will be like providing updates. You know, we'll be listening to everyone when the full game comes out, what they have to say. We'll be updating and just polishing things further and further. Oh, thanks Voice of Nature for the 5 tier 1 subs. Yeah, we will definitely be providing support as long as it takes until we're like very happy with the product. So
yeah,
no worries about that.
I guess to piggyback off of that as well is throughout the development process, we have been listening very closely and carefully to all of our backers on Kickstarter. So anytime anybody has left a comment or a question, we've discussed it in the background, and we do take a lot of care into what everybody, both our supporters and future players, are thinking about the project.
Yeah, perhaps like I read every comment, and it's not healthy, but I do take everything into consideration, like what our audience and our fans say, like to a fault. Cool. Connor, do you have the next question ready?
I have a whole bunch of questions that are primed and ready. This one by Voice of Nature that was wondering, how many escapes will there be in a kind of Ori style like Ginso tree, which is very specific, and maybe one that Milton or Chris can take.
I think I could take that one. Basically, okay, I can only, there's so many spoilers that are possible here, but I think there's one that is pretty obvious in the trailers, and it's the Hashihime bridge escape scene. So it's, pretty soon in the first act of the game, you're going to be trying to cross this bridge. And there is this maiden who's it's her bridge, and she doesn't like that you're trying to traverse it, right? So there will be a chase-like sequence. It's not a vertical chase, but it's a horizontal chase, so not quite like the Ginsu tree in Ori. But that sequence was freaking amazing, and I don't know if we were directly inspired while designing this, our version of our chase scene, by the Ginsu tree, but perhaps, right? I played the Ginsu and I loved it, so.
I think it might actually be worth mentioning. If I'm not mistaken, when we first brought Milton onto the project, I think his very first contribution was the bridge.
Yeah, Milton, do you remember?
It's been quite a while, but I did have plenty of notes on the current implementation of the bridge chase when I showed up. And it was nice to properly flesh it out with a different structure to actually make it a bit more concise. These kind of epic chase scenes are actually amazing and awesome the very first time you actually complete it, but being able to retry them, it gets a little bit tedious whenever you have to start from the very beginning. And once you have to reiterate the same thing over and over, it makes you a bit more skillful, but it gets a tiny bit tedious. So being able to streamline it and make it a bit more concise and digestible was awesome, and was able to pack all of the interesting ideas and set pieces and content, the proper content, into something that's more condensed and rich. So I'm quite pleased with that particular sequence, and there are other moments that have the same kind of intensity later in the game, but those are for people to discover.
Yeah, right. I think, now that I do think about it, I think I can confirm that was like the first milestone you worked on with us, because we had an idea for the chase scene, and Trevor and I had designed several mechanics and like hazards and things, but Milton was really able to like help us with a lot of technical and pacing type issues that we were experiencing. And I remember like one of the things he designed was like how the camera would work for the chase scene and the rubber banding on the camera. And like Trevor and I fell in love with Milton. Like that was the moment when he like provided the document of like how the camera would work. We were like, oh dude, this was like the missing link here. So yeah, we were really I mean, Milton was always going to be great, but like that's when we knew like Milton was an amazing addition to the team.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Right. Okay. So we have a couple of questions on Bo as a character, which might be best answered by yourself, Chris. One from Benjamin Good on YouTube. What would you say that Bo's personality is like? And I suppose there's a double question on that. Tink1235 is asking, what are Bo's pronouns? Him, she, they? How do you refer to Bo?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I think Bo is the empty, what is it called? The blank slate archetype. The quiet, like it's like a link. The quiet. What? There's a word for it. I can't think of it right now. The silent hero or whatever.
Silent protagonist.
Silent protagonist. Yeah. So silent protagonist, and you definitely can imbue whatever personality you think, is proper. But so Bo, I think a lot of people think Bo's a fox, but Bo's actually a made-up creature called a Tentaihana, and Tentaihana are actually flowers. So Bo is actually literally a lotus flower that became sentient, right? So the name of the creature is a Tentaihana. And because flower, I mean, there's no pronouns for Bo because Bo is genderless. I think technically flowers are both genders.
Yeah, well, that's getting into botany though. But yeah, you have
I'm definitely not a botanist, but yeah, Bo is genderless. I think essentially what you can do is you can just imbue whatever you are, Bo is. Whatever the player is, Bo is. Yeah.
Nice. And this is one for Chris, Trevor, and Robert. So, Meets Las Carnes is asking, so without spoiling anything, is there anything from the development that you desperately wanted to be in the game, but maybe had to be changed or had to be left out for the time being? Is there anything that you would have loved to have been in there?
What do you think, Trevor? You want to take that? You think you can?
I think my answer might also be your answer. I obviously I can't go into it without spoilers, but
yeah, there's a few things here too. Yeah.
There is well, actually, here I'll give a different answer than what I'm thinking. We did design a few bosses, pretty like kind of like I'd say right before we entered the beta phase, that were really interesting. They were pretty, and Milton did like a lot of good work on it, and they're coming along really well. They're still kind of in a prototype state, but they're really fun. But yeah, just due to time and scope creep, we had to cut those.
I will say though, from overall, because we had this sort of in the planning stages, years ago actually, when going into the Kickstarter, right after the Kickstarter, we had our plan made, and I think for the overall scope of the game and what was promised through the Kickstarter campaign is absolutely, I think that and more is being delivered. And also the quality that is being delivered here is to such a high standard. I mean, Chris is directing, Trevor and Gail's programming, Milton's design. I mean, everybody, if you just look at the cohesion of the artwork and the music and how that all pairs together, I think with the time we had, although those bosses may not, they're still prototypey and they're not included, I think what we planned is pretty much there. What do you think, Chris? That's very true.
Muted. Okay, hold on. I know I was muted. I'm sorry. So actually, it's probably good that I was muted for what I just said. So let me rethink what I just said. So
wow, I can't believe you spoiled the entire game.
Yeah, I just spoiled the entire yeah. So it's good that I was muted. Let's just say, like, even though there was a lot of stuff that was on the cutting room floor, I don't think our investment into designing those things and prototyping those things is wasted. They may or may not be used later on. We definitely learned a lot while we were designing those things. That's all I'll say. But it's nothing's wasted.
I guess the main thing that I wanted to just highlight there, and I'll end with this, is that the time that we had and allotted to this game development was perfect. I think for what we ended up with and what we were able to create here was just perfect. And I think the product at the end of the day, this is a fantastic game.
Yeah, we're already hearing a lot of great things. Like, one of the best things I heard in the past week was like one really prominent speedrunner for Hollow Knight just randomly played our demo and was like, I am absolutely gonna be speedrunning this hardcore. So because he was like, I think people when they pick up the player controller will be very impressed with kind of what the nuances of movement and how high the skills cap could be, but it's easy to learn, hard to master kind of, and you can do all kinds of stylish stuff at high levels of play. So we're looking forward to seeing that. Gail, did you want to comment on something?
Yeah, actually, about the controls that you were talking about. I personally am really bad at games that are fast paced or you need like to press a lot of buttons to do stuff. But both feels so good, and I know Trevor spent a lot of time working on that, making it like the best it could be, and you know it's paid off because I was talking with this with my partner the other day when I was playing the game, that it feels so good to control it. Like I personally, for me, feels better than Hollow Knight because Hollow Knight sometimes is a bit difficult to control. You know, like some platforms or like the platforming is a bit difficult in some places with the enemies. Like for me, sometimes it was a bit overwhelming. But Bo is like the perfect pacing and the perfect level of difficulty. So yeah, I'm really happy with that how that turned out.
Nice. Right, okay, we have another question that maybe speaks to, we saw Trevor on the first half of the stream fighting against the first boss, and I suppose this question maybe speaks to a bit more about how do you like ramp up the challenge of the bosses as Bo's abilities develop throughout the game. How did that go?
Sorry, I just had to change the video real quick. So we're watching the trailer right now because the YouTube video we were playing finished. So the question was about ramping up the difficulty of the bosses?
Yeah, and how and what is that level of like, will we have some really challenging bosses in
Right.
Bo?
So we've heard I mean, it's so hard to please everyone, but some people were like, oh, the bosses in the demo are so easy, and then some people are like, they're like impossible. So it's extremely difficult to do like difficulty balancing for some players, but we always intended for the first act of the game to be approachable and for players not to reduce frustration in the player, right? So they can kind of learn and make mistakes without becoming too frustrated. But that being said, when we get to the second, and particularly the second half of the second act, so act 2.5 or whatever, and the third act, things start really to ramp up, and hopefully, like, if you haven't really like learned the nuances of a player controller by that point, like, you're gonna have to learn them in order to approach some of the bosses later on in some of the platforming challenge and combat. So, and there's one boss in particular. It's in the trailer, right? It's coming up soon, so I'll point it out when it comes. But it's the Tengu bosses. So the Tengu bosses are just like, and it wasn't just me, so I'm not being arrogant when I say this. It's just a masterpiece from the whole team. Oh, it was real quick right there in the trailer if you guys caught it there. But they're basically like you fight two in the trailer. There's two birds that you fight at the same time. They're called Tengu, and like the whole team. At that point, the whole team was really cruising, and like everyone understood what it meant to work on a boss, from the art to the design to the programming to like just everything. So it was like that boss was the culmination of everyone's hard work and understanding the player controller and just understanding. If there was a perfect boss in Bo, it was that boss. So I think people are going to have a lot of fun playing that boss. Trevor, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to piggyback off what you said with the Tengu bosses, because just personally from my end of things, that's like those bosses are one of the things I'm most proud of, like from what I could contribute to Bo. Yeah, like just like from the programming side of things, getting two boss controllers working in the same room, and then it gets, I don't know if I could say more about the bosses that come after that, but it gets even more crazy after that. Just like, managing, having all these different behaviors talking to each other, it just came out really good. I'm proud of how it came out.
Yeah, it was like a super ambitious boss, but we nailed it. Every single facet, every single team member who worked on it, like, really nailed it. I want to give a shout out to Alex, who's not even here, but animator. He also, he was like, I do not want to animate this boss, but I forced him to do it because I knew that it would make him like, challenge him in a good way, and I knew he could do it. So it was kind of the first like serious animation he did for the game, and he really knocked it out of the park.
I remember when that was going on as well, and I think it just again highlights that we had several animators and artists who worked together on this. But I mean, if you look at it, it really does. It all comes together perfectly, which is pretty uncommon, particularly for an indie project to succeed so well. And
yeah. Speaking of animation, I would love to hear from Mikami. Maybe Mikami, like, what was one of your favorite things to animate in the game?
Oh,
anything you see in the trailer is like, I mean, almost everything, like 90% of the animations Mikami did, and then maybe like another 10 where mostly Alex or even I did a few, but Mikami was like the lead animator on the project.
I guess Bo is my favorite, my favorite character that I animated because I made so much for Bo, nah? And
yeah.
So I think Bo is my main favorite thing that I animated in the game.
Yeah.
But there is, I think, Kitsune, the one of the bosses. I think was one of my favorite.
Oh, Kitsura? So the fox boss?
Yes.
Yeah, so the nine-tailed fox boss in our trailer. Yeah, that was a very late animation that we worked on together, right, Mikami?
Yes.
But
there is one boss that I really like, but I don't think it's on the trailer, so I'm not going to say it.
Oh, okay. I'm curious about what it is, but yeah, maybe if it's not in the trailer, we won't talk about it. Yeah, I think Mikami, you were probably the earliest member of our team, other than Trevor and I.
Yes.
Like when I'm thinking about it, yeah, it was Trevor and I in the very beginning, and Mikami was the third person to join. And I think the first animation you ever did was an Asahi animation. Just
no, it was Bo.
Are you
I
sure?
think it was. I'm pretty sure because I knew the character because it looked like my own character that I do. Because you said, oh, it looks like your animation. So if you want to make animations for our game, so if you could please do one simple animation of a character doing movement of both staff.
Okay, yeah, maybe. I thought it was Asahi, the first one. Anyway.
No, Asahi was the second one.
Okay, so who was the second? Okay. Yeah, and then she ended up doing like she probably drew Bo like 1,000 times with all the frames. Yes. So let's all give Mikami some praise for being the only person in the world who's probably drawn Bo 1,000 times, even more than me. Like guaranteed more than me.
I was gonna say, you bring up a good point, Chris, because I think after Mikami joined, I believe Alex and Gail would have been the next to join the project. That was even within the midst of the Kickstarter, correct?
Well, I believe Moy. So at the time of the Kickstarter, Moy had also joined. So it was actually just me, Trevor, Moy, and Mikami for the Kickstarter. So Moy was the next to join. I found both of them, and perhaps I could say this, but both of you I found on Fiverr.com. And I was like, I just saw their portfolios. I'm like, wow, these are like undiscovered gems of like talented artists, musical and animation respectively. So I just started talking to them. I think Moy also worked with us on a game jam game that we did. We won't talk about that because it's a little embarrassing, but and we just really liked what Moy brought to the table, and yeah, that's how it started. I forget the order in which people joined, to be honest.
I have a vague idea since I think because I think after that I joined next, then I got Milton on, and then we have I know Miguel came on later on to also help with sound elements as well. If I'm working backwards, Connor joined recently, but I think before that was Lisa as well.
Yeah, and we haven't. And you mentioned Miguel, and we haven't really heard from Miguel yet. But
Yeah.
Miguel, do you want to talk a little bit about how you joined the team and what you've been doing?
Yeah, actually, if you can remember, you didn't found me. I found you. Like,
yes.
I found you on Twitter. Like, this game is insane. You probably need sound for this. I was like open to cool stuff, and I love the art and everything. So I was like, hey, Chris, we can do some testing. We can do some stuff. And then Chris said, okay, well, you want to join us? We need a sound designer for this because there's a lot of stuff that sound related to music already. They had all of the music more or less like set up, like the mood and for every environment, for every character. So sound had to match it. So we got the idea. I found them, and Chris said, yeah, we need like a sound designer to do some stuff. But yeah, I found you.
Yeah, I think you initially just emailed me and you sent me like a video of sound design you did as a project for like an Ori game. But like it was like you just like redesigned it, right?
Yeah, like some showreel portfolio stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was like in the very beginnings, actually.
Yeah, I really liked that, and I suggest like anyone who's like approaching like people for employment to have something like that. Like if you're a sound designer, just like take like a game, like footage from a game, and just like add your own sounds into it. And because like when I listened to it, I'm like, whoa, it just sounded like it fit so perfectly, and I'm like, okay. And he had a great knowledge of Fmod, which is like an adaptive audio engine that we wanted to start using. So, you know, and then we talked, I liked him, so yeah, we went from there.
Yeah, I remember you told me the first time, like, hey, can you do like a quick sound design for, we got this guy, yeah, it's in the demo. We have this guy flipping the coin that gives you first on memory.
Oh, was that the first one I asked you to do? Oh yeah, that guy. He just was on screen.
This was the first sound in the game I made. The flipping coin of
okay.
This guy. Yeah, I can remember.
Yeah, that came. I had no idea. I thought that was much later, but interesting.
The first one.
Yeah, so you're talking about Dodomeki, and actually Dodomeki's in the demo, so just flipping the coin. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Yeah, go play the demo to hear the first sound Miguel ever worked on in our game. Yeah, go to Steam, play it right now. Well, thanks for sharing about the sound design a little bit.
We also haven't really heard much about from Lisa either.
Yeah, maybe I'll give a short introduction for Lisa and she can talk. But yeah, Lisa was one of the later members to join the team, and she came at a time where I was feeling very stressed out. So I'm really grateful for Lisa. So, but Lisa, do you want to talk about how you came to join the team and like what you did?
Yeah, I mean, I think I joined because I saw like a Discord message on some game Discord channel that you were looking for someone, and then I just reached out because I already knew the game from the Kickstarter, and I really wanted to work on it.
Right, yeah, I think I put like a desperate plea because I felt like I was drowning at one point with too much work, and I was like, I need someone to help me with set dressing. And
yes.
So and Lisa's also a fairly talented programmer, so she made a bunch of cool tools that we were able to use in the game to like make set dressing a lot faster. Hey, thanks Voice of Nature for the gifted tier 1 subs. Yeah, so she was like kind of like an angel that swooped in at the last minute and like made my life a lot easier.
There's a great question here that probably ties into that and to the art team in general, but what did you find the most interesting or the most challenging part of the art direction for the game?
Wow. So I think every time you create a new area, or when I try to design a new area, you can't just do the same tricks that you did in the other area. Every area has to feel kind of unique, and it also has to have that special flair and a unique flair. So I remember struggling a lot with like especially in Midori Forest, which is that green area that you see in the trailer, thinking about like, okay, how stylized should we do the foliage here, and like how do we scale that? Because we wanted to, if you like notice right here on screen, that's Midori Forest. There's like different patterns on the leaves, and there's so many creative decisions that need to be made, and we also need to we wanted to also harken back to traditional Japanese art and pay homage to traditional Japanese art in almost everything we did. So like for example, in the lower Kitsune boroughs, which is this red area here, like the background's like a shibori spider web, like indigo print. That's like a pattern making type craft in Japan. We obviously have the origami area. We use a lot of like.
I mean, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, you can go.
I was going to say one other thing that I wanted to highlight is also beyond. I mean, even for like the enemies and everything, Chris, you were looking at different books and different reference material online for various stories from Japan. But I also remember, because I live in Japan, contributing photography and different things of like places in Kyoto and other locations for various portions of the game as well. So there's a lot of things that taking inspiration from directly in Japan as well.
Oh, for sure. In particular, that Midori, like we went to Japan for Tokyo Game Show in our first year of development, and I took my camera around. Everyone was taking pictures, and in particular, Midori Forest is really inspired by Fushimi Inari Shrine in Kyoto. So you'll see like that's that shrine with like 10,000 of those red torii gates that like go up the mountain, right? So I really wanted to evoke that feeling that I felt there. I think like Trevor and I both visited there together, and we felt like it was a very special place, and we kind of took reference for that for the Midori Forest area. And then obviously Megumi Mountain has some like Mount Fuji vibes. Yeah, I mean I could talk forever about like all the inspirations and stuff, but I wonder. I feel like we could hear a little bit more from Moises, who was the composer, who did an absolutely incredible job and absolutely blew me away with every single track he composed. So Moi, how many tracks did you do actually? I have an idea, but
it was 34 tracks.
34 tracks.
The music, but maybe you can add some more like the jingles. I'm not counting the jingles, but there might be around another 10.
56 around.
Oh well.
Yeah, if you include the jingles, which are like maybe shorter phrasal, like music pieces, right? Wait, what was the number? 57?
Yeah, around 56, 57, 55. Yeah, more.
Yeah, crazy. But even the jingles are like, mwah. So
yeah.
Yeah, do you have did you have a favorite song that you worked on with Bo that has like a special that holds a special place in your heart?
Definitely probably Hashihime boss fight. The bridge theme, Sencho Bridge. Yorogumo.
I mean, can I just say something about Sencho Bridge? When I first heard Sencho Bridge, I cried. I'm not even lying. Like I didn't cry like, weeping, full out weeping, but I definitely teared up because it was such a beautiful melody. And I think a lot of people haven't even heard that one in particular. Yeah, that's one track we never really released, right?
Well, it's not in my SoundCloud, but it definitely is gonna be released on streaming platforms soon. And that track is actually very inspired by Spirit Away, so maybe that's why it's a bit special for me, because I really like that soundtrack. So but I will say that my favorite ones are the boss battles, because I learned a lot from those tracks. Like I managed to improve my skills in music programming, like for BSTs and using my DAW and stuff like that, like also mixing, and well, it was pretty fun.
So you felt like you grew a lot on the project, yeah?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like everyone on this team, because a lot of us were fairly inexperienced in video games. you know. And I feel like we all really learned so much from each other. There was definitely like members of the team who are more experienced than others, but I'm just like so proud of the entire team and how much they were able to grow as creatives and also as, I guess, technical people, engineers, right? Like, I just want to say I'm super proud of the team. And yeah, Tank in the chat mentioned that the demo finished screen song, which is Central Bridge. Oh no, that's the Hashihime battle song. Yeah, they said it's very good. Yeah, that song is absolutely a banger.
Thank you.
And there's plenty of more bangers where that came from.
Can I add something real quick?
Absolutely.
For the Central Bridge song? The Central Bridge song is so good that when Chris sent it to me, because like he sent it to me immediately when Moy sent it to him. He was like, "Oh, dude, you got to listen to this," and it was so good that for at least a week straight, I just had it on loop while I was coding. Because
Wow.
it was, yeah, and I'm not even exaggerating either. So
yeah,
it's a really good song.
Yeah, there's a bunch of really great tracks. I'm so proud of Moy, what he was able to do, and like really bring the oral audio world of Bo to life. Like, he really stepped up.
Thank you.
There was, I think what impressed me the most is probably on the more technical side of things with Trevor and Gail. I mean, there are so many things in game development that sound straightforward. I'm not going to go too much into depth, but let's make a map system. Oh, that sounds so easy. There's a lot of typing and effort and tweaking and adjustments and iteration that goes into that sort of thing. That the amount of elements like that are present in the game that work is really impressive to me as well. Because usually you'd have an entire team dedicated to some of those elements, whereas I think, Trevor and Gail basically did it single-handedly together.
Yeah, I mean, everyone kicked ass on this project. Like, I'm super proud of everyone in the team. I think we're also probably nearing the end of the stream.
Yeah. We also have about 10 minutes left in the call.
Yeah,
before it
so
kicks us out again.
Yeah, Google Meets is going to kick us out. If Google wants to sponsor our launch parties in the future, that'd be great. But anyway, yeah, really want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank everyone on the team again. And also all the fans, old and new, that have, like, for some reason really started to come to love our game and that are excited about our game. I think you guys are going to have a really, really great experience, like, exploring this world. And you don't have to wait anymore. The demo is live on Steam, so you can start experiencing the world right after this live stream. If you go to our Steam page, which the moderators can link in the chats, our Steam page, and download the demo and wishlist, because wishlists really help. And I do need to mention again that we are doing a speedrun. So again, the prizes are on the screen right now. And the rules for that can also be, or the guidelines for that can also be linked in the stream chat. So I also want to thank our awesome mods, Zola and Flame, and of course Connor and Takala. Pengi, I think, was here too for just a brief moment. She's super busy, but thank you so much. We love you. Meets. Yeah. Thank you so much. And we'll see you in the next stream. I also apologize for all the technical difficulties, but I've already apologized. So, thanks for joining, everyone, and we'll see you next time, okay? Everyone on the team, let's give one last bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, yeah, see you in a sight.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you for joining. Whew. Okay, I think it went well after we got past the crazy awkward technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we know for
I
next
figured
time.
I'd give my Yeah. I was gonna say I figured I'd give my lawyer. The reason why I specified with the DLC is I figured I'd give my lawyer answer
Oh yeah,
for that one.
that was good. I was like nervous. I'm like, dude, what? I wasn't sure what we should talk about.
Yeah. But the idea is to get them hyped for the current game, but also not lock us out of the next one. I think it's always a good answer to give, but also one that's super safe that nobody can really get any information from.
Yeah. And yeah, thanks again everyone for joining. I'm sorry, you know, I tried my best to like get everyone to talk, and I hope.
Oh, I guess we're
You're
still
live.
Oh.
Oh.
Hi everyone.
Oh,
Hi
yeah.
everyone.
That's great.